Wait, why is it blue?
Okay, we're good.
We're good.
We're live.
We are.
Cool. All right.
Okay. Hello and welcome to the musical concert. My name is Ajika S. I use she, her, hers pronouns.
My name is Fiona Finn. I use she, her, hers.
I'm Amrita Rutter. I use she, her, hers.
I'm Edy Savage. I use she, her, hers.
And I'm Arin Andrews, he, him, his. And
I'm Amrita S and I use he, him, his.
Yeah, so turn up the volume. Okay.
We are the creative team and guest musician of Musical the Musical, which is why we are here today.
So without further ado, here is Once Upon a Time, the first song of the show.
Once upon a time, there was a girl. No. Once upon a time, there was a little girl with a story to tell to the whole world. That's not right. Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time. Those words promise a story full of hope and adventure, where the heroes danced to glory and they lived happily after. But I can't quite find the words to write the second part. The world is full of color, but it leaves me in my hair can't fit into a piece of pencil. I'm left with a blank page 'cause that's the first stage.
Once upon a time, 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 once upon a time.
Welcome to the first annual theater festival. This is an art that's made our town great, and this is a competition of the bloodlust and other fun things. Now, it's a two-act play, but this time there's music in it. Yes, it's quite odd, but nevertheless, are you ready? Get out your pens, your paper, and your fancy technological devices, and let's go.
Once upon a time, 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 once upon a.
Once upon a time, there was a boy who never grew up. Drunk and full of cash.
Once upon a time, there was a barricade of soldiers.
Some cool rebellious newsies with
Super stylish hats. These words build up the magic, building up to an intermission with a conflict and a problem.
A girl gone missing.
But if only we could get the words to sound good on the page. The world is full of color. They say all the world's a stage.
Once upon a time, there was an orphan with no story, a child with no glory. Once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there was an actor with no play, a star who could not shine. Once upon a
Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time.
Tornado in my head can't fit into a piece of pencil lead. So I'm left with a blank page. Guess that's the first stage. Once upon a time,
once upon a time, once upon a time, many out for a jump, full of nuts. Once upon a time, there was a barricade of soldiers, rebellious nurses with super stylish hats, but I can't quite find the words to write the second part. The world is full of color, but it leaves me in the dark. The world is full of color, but it leaves me in the dark.
Once upon a time, there was a girl with a story to tell to the whole world. Once upon a time.
So we began this process of what seems like a really long time ago. When we first got together, it was in January 2019, and at the time it was just a friend group writing a silly story that at this time wasn't even close to Musical the Musical, entirely separate. But by April 2019, we were already joking about writing a musical that was about a musical. But at that time it was still a joke. But this was an idea that we all really liked, and it really quickly evolved into something much bigger. By the time it was May 2019, we had just started writing our first draft. And this process would continue we're still continuing it, honestly. But we finished the first draft in September 2019, but we've kept going, and we just finished our third draft in July 2020. If you told our little 7th grade selves that they would be performing snippets of a musical to a crowd and live streaming it for everyone, they'd probably think we were insane. Also, we're doing it socially distanced, which is also insane. So, it's been a weird and crazy process. But we're just so excited that we actually have the chance to show this to everyone, and you can all get to see what we've been up to.
The next song was a representation of what it feels like to write a musical in all aspects. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
As they ring out way too loud, the dissonance of dialogue, the music all sounds flat, and every crumpled page goes flying. That's where it's at, that's where it's at.
Eva Benedict. Yes, Mr. Potts, can you recall which topic we've been covering? She can't.
Cause she forgot.
Dropped off the ceiling
Stars.
Stopped in high, running all day.
We're writing a play.
Because the words just scramble in my head and I can't shove these thoughts away.
How to write a musical.
A musical?
A musical!
It's really not as easy as it sounds, not as easy as it sounds.
Eva Benedict. Yes, Mr. Potts, with your head stuck in your desk.
It's such a stress.
She always writes a lot.
Too wrapped up in silly stories, writing in the 4th dimension. If you really cannot focus, Eva,
Eva.
to detention.
To detention, Eva, Eva, to detention.
How to write a musical, you put the pen to page. The world is full of color, they say all the world's a stage. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The dissonance, the dialogue, the music all sounds flat, and every couple page goes flying. That's where I'm at.
There once was a girl that did everything right, but dreamt of adventure from dawn to dusk, day to night. Once was a girl with pearls in her eyes, her head in the skies, seeing the world. There once was a girl. There once was a girl with a passion for trouble, stuck in a dungeon, her arms bound and tongue tied up. Once was a girl who broke through the barriers and built an adventure, shaping the world. There once was a girl, so she packed up her bags and she went out to search nothing but her and herself, away from the boring old hold of her classroom. Get up and clear the dust from the shelf, seeing the world through theatrical eyes, and finding herself what just sprouts her wings and she flies. There once was a girl. There once was a girl, left her old life behind her, worked up the courage to start a rebellion. Once was a girl who sure made a difference, head near her heart, seeing the world. There once was a girl, though she could do everything right, and though she could sleep through any cold night, she knew somewhere out there lay adventure. I will find it. So I packed up my bags and I went out to search nothing but me and myself. writing the musical, it was actually way different from what it is now. About a month into what we were writing, we came up with the idea of splitting it into two worlds, one of them being outside the musical and Eva writing it, and the other one being the story within the musical. Arin hated it, but he came around. One of the examples of this is how the music goes from modern and outside of the world to like classic golden age Broadway music throughout the show. And also a character, Rose, who's inside of the show, and Rosa, who's on the outside. Yeah, without further ado, I think we're getting into the musical.
Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there was a man, a struggling actor, insecure but kind.
Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time.
Once upon a time, there was a woman, wed to the actor, disappointed one too many times.
These words predict an exposition with setbacks and confusion. A couple used to trials, used to trying, used to losing. It's a story like a lot of others you have heard before. Unsatisfied with living so when so many have more. Every morning the sun comes through my window. Every morning the world slowly comes alive. And with that life comes the realization that today's another day of work and try and fail and reach and strive for greatness. Every morning is the same awkward exchange. Every morning I get in my car and face the world. And with that world comes relentless failure and reminders that I'll never be that person once the ball has rolled and the die has fallen and the ball keeps rolling and the bell keeps tolling and they keep on looking at me with disdain.
Look up, the sky is blue and it's all for you.
The endless opportunities.
Look up,
next morning in my car the same way. Can you remember? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? In the bygone times, you were present every second. You were the wind in my hair, the breath of my skin, the beat of my heart. You were there, you were there, you were there. I stand alone in the midnight, throw a stone and hear the rippling of the water. And I walk alone through memories, feel the sun beat down on my aching shoulders. If you really think you can change the world with song and dance, and you really think there's a chance of changing things at all, are you really so blind about the stories that you read that you would be misled in answer to this call?
Did you think you'd gain renown by writing all these things? Well, what tomorrow brings won't be publicly.
You would tell them all about you and your immaturity. And if you stick around, then you will see the world will know your name. Find your voice, speak out loud. After all, you should be proud. All this music is what's proving that you stand up from the crowd. Why the struggle? Why'd you hide? Why'd you shut yourself inside? But now lucky you, I'm giving you the choice to find your voice.
You ask me questions that I don't have scripted out, and I wish that I could shout the truth like what I write.
What I read.
I'm called crazy when I follow all my dreams, and so my instinct screams don't share, put up a fight. But why am I hesitating? Isn't this the moment that I need to try to stop from shaking, to tell my story and succeed?
Find your voice, speak your mind. Let these storylines unwind. There's no need to stay confused, ashamed, or hated by the lines. There's no right, there's no wrong. There is only words and song. And when you shine your light, they will rejoice.
So find your voice. Can I really convince them that this isn't a wrong turn? But what if they don't learn, or what if I'm confused? But I think I have a plot that can lead somewhere great, and then, well, just you wait, I've nothing else to lose. Find my voice, write a word, let these trembling lines be heard. Take a paper and create her, a new character is preferred. One with heart and a story, one for Eva to adore. Here in Providence, a love interest, a choice to find her voice.
Cliches are a really big part of Musical to Musical, mostly because Eva thinks that they're like the way that life is supposed to go, so she uses them all the time in her musical. But while her love story in the real world doesn't really go very well, in the musical it goes perfectly.
Also, we aren't doing all the songs, but that was the end of Act 1. This is the beginning of Act 2.
But that perfect story isn't fated to be mine.
and Sita. It's time. Well, it's a dark story, cold story, no pathline with gold story. Every patch just brings you back to places yet untold story. Life was good, life was fair, till they elected a new mayor, and there you'd see oppression more than once as freedom everywhere. Well, it was strict, there were laws, we were trapped beneath their paws. Just when we thought we wanted, turned out we had really lost. No more laughter, lots of violence, as this happened in Rhode Island, and we suffered while they stopped to rinse what's not. This was a while before someone said enough. And can you guess who it was? It was me. And just look where I ended up. Way across the ocean,
Far beyond the sun, in a place where once is never, story's always done. If you rebel, then oh well, it's your fate unless you tell your story, and then something can be done. Tell your story.
Yes, it's the old story, true story, heard it through and through story. Always it's the same old me, no matter what you do story. There was a tyrant and a plot, someone rebels, and then guess what? You've got this tiny island, just a dark and dismal afterthought. This is the mayor, and this is the town. This mayor retires and passes the crown. This mayor is cruel, a villain at best. She oppresses her people, and you know the rest. You've heard it before, you know this old tale. A ruler is cooler and never can fail. And when one single person stands up and says no, the mayor decides a tiny island is the perfect place for her to go. Battle, fallen, pay the cost, battle, cheated and depleted and confused and double-crossed, battle, once upon becomes the end, an enemy was once your friend, but what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? Tell your story and then something can be done. So it's around this point in the show where it starts to be revealed what musical is really about. And yes, it's about three people united under the most unusual of circumstances who are all trying to write a better future for themselves and the world around them. But in this next scene, which we are not going to perform because it contains a lot of spoilers for the show, which eventually, someday, we will perform the whole show. It starts to be revealed that what musical is really about is using the power of words, and specifically the power of theater, to change the world. And yeah, which I think is a pretty relevant message. And so in the musical world, Eva has managed to write a happy ending for all of her characters, for Dash and for Rose and for Meriam, for Isabel, all of her characters except one.
So everyone lived happily ever after, which is cliche, but true. The end. It's a bit sad, isn't it? I advise you never to write a musical about yourself. When it ends, you always feel depressed. The lines between your reality and this world that you've created start to blur, and you're right on the line between either of them, and then till suddenly you wake up and remember, no, you're not in that world. The friendships, the feuds, the romances, We're just part of the story. They aren't there when you wake up, except on the paper. It's just something you created for yourself. I'm in a different world than they are. I wrote a happy ending for every character, but right now, I still feel incomplete. I guess it's because I can't, no matter how hard I try, write a happy ending for me. But I have this future right here in front of me. Write your own future, tell your story, and then something can be done. Powerful message, disguised in an admittedly rather ridiculous story. The only way change can come is if people speak out and tell their stories and write their own future, without waiting for someone to write it for them. Musical, the musical. Once Upon a Time.
Have you ever felt so unwanted, like there wasn't a place for you? Feel so alone.
Something's forgotten, and you landed a backup role. Feel so unknown. Ocean in the water, ripple in the air.
The breeze that blows from either side, the sun's blinding glare.
Though you think you may have made it, when you reach the other side of the bay, but you're only halfway.
Reflection on the water, a single music note.
The rolling, rushing waves are the only things keeping us afloat.
Though you think you may have made it, when you reach the other side of the bay, but you're only halfway.
Once upon a time, once upon a time.
But you're only halfway.
Once upon a time, 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 once upon a time. And you're only a reflection on the water, a single music note. The breeze that blows from either side are the only things keeping us afloat. Though you think you may have made it, when you reach the other side of the bay, but you're only Clouds block the
halfway.
sun,
And the rain starts to fall. There's a storm in the air, and you're in the middle of it all. In the middle of it all. You're only halfway. You're only halfway.
only halfway.
Only halfway.
Only halfway.
Only halfway. And you're only halfway.
The end.
The end. Are we all gonna say it? What?
Do we bow?
No. Oh no.
Really quick, the list of songs that we did. The first was Once Upon a Time, which was written by Amrita and Edy and me. And then How to Write a Musical was written by me and Amrita and Ajika. There Once Was a Girl was written by Edy. Dash was written by me. Meriam by Ajika. Find Your Voice by me. Okay by me and Amrita. Tell Your Story by me. Halfway by me. Yes, thank you. And that concludes Musical to Musical, the funky, informal, socially distanced concert jam session.
Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.